Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black with the Strat Time Report, and the back and forth August continues. So the question, does this hold? So here's what we got. CPI comes out like, hey, it's not the end of the world just yet, but now gap and sit. So we have an inside 60 in the SPY. All right, so we want to watch either side of this. Do we hold this gap? Do we come back down to it? The good thing is that potentially if we do hold this going forward, albeit grindy today, we do re-break a lot of the inside mounts back to the upside. And that's kind of what we've been rooting for, because unless they're really going to hit them and start going 3 on the month, a lot more things are closer to 2 up on the month. So now we're back up here. Just doji on the day in the SPY, doing nothing, right, on the gap. And now inside on the 60. So we'll see. We haven't had much corrective activity, but if we do take that 60 down, we'll see who stays strong, who weakens, and then if they take it to the upside, who continues. That's kind of the question right now, because doji on the day. But like I said, a lot of things re-breaking those months. Right? So going forward, whether it's today or tomorrow or next week, if we can hold all that stuff, then we'll have more stuff to go after. But because we know it's just been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the dailies. So does this hold? And then tomorrow, do we take out today's lows? Do we take out today's highs? What do we do? But for right now, we're watching that inside 60. If we go to QQQ here, not quite inside, took that up, but once again, doji on the day. No good. Not getting any futures help, and we're not seeing too much discernible rotation. I'll get to a little bit of that in a second, but that's what you want to see when you have a doji day in the broader averages. Heavy trending sectors and stuff like that. We got a few, but we'll see, because once we have those 60s break, this would be a 2 up, 2 down if that takes that out. Once again, above the month, and if we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, Dow Jones Diamonds just went 2 up, 2 down on the 60, but once again, doji. But on the gap, re-break that inside month. So going forward, that's if we can hold out of these ranges, that'll get my attention going forward. Today, a little lackluster, but we'll see. If we go to small cappers, also inside on the 60 and inside month and up on the gap. So we'll see if that holds a little bit better on the day here, green. But you got the inside 60s to keep an eye on for at least the next hour, unless they stay inside. If there was any discernible group, it was going to be KRE. Regional banks trying to make a nice little push here. The 2 down, 2 up, and that's going to give you stuff like Zion. Here, Zion Bank, and that's a 2-2 monther now. And you can see this is what we prefer. Nice green bar, not a doji, something that's on the move, right? So we saw some more financials like DFS. DFS having a nice little day here, getting out of all this stuff. Still an inside month. And so what's good about that is that, when you see a green bar like this, you can try and find your way in. I don't know if there's a nice 15 or something in there. Here's a nice inside 15 to get yourself in. And then you hope you get a little more oomph once you can get that monthly break, the 212 monthly break, and you're already in. That tells us to look at Capital One. Let me put this in here too. Capital One. Also having a nice little day. There was your 15er here. Looks like you might have been able to grab a 30. Yep, inside 30 here, and off she goes. Taking out last week's highs, and once again, if that keeps going above 114.94, then you get the monthly break. Goldman Sachs coming up a little bit, not too much, and then just kind of stalling out like a lot of things. How's that 60 looking? Yeah, inside 60. You can watch that with Morgan Stanley. Here, okay, what's going on over here? Morgan Stanley also the inside 60. So somewhat the financials. We'll see. If we go to SMH, and SMH stalling out a little bit. We would have preferred that to continue that 2 up, 2 down week. Doji on the month, that's no good, but it did come out with a little bit here on the 2 down, 2 up, and move this morning. We'll see if any of that continues. Right now they're backing off just a tad. You had some good stuff like Corvo coming back up here, 2-2 reversal. You can always watch MU, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Not sure how much continuation we get out of those guys. But you do have like SQ here on the RevStrat 1, 2, 2, and that's still that inside month and up. Inside on the week would be the issue here. So we'll see if that continues to take these guys out. And net Also, the 222 on the daily, reconfirming that inside month to the upside. Did go inside in the 60 and took it. Didn't go very far, so we'll see. That's a bit of an issue right now. Still watching these inside 60s. Most things still pretty much holding, though. D-Dog here, just a doji, doing nothing up into here, but it is a re-break of those months. So going forward, like I said, we want to look for follow-through if we can get it. If you go to OLED, OLED Rev Strat 1, 2, 3, and it's also a 3-1-2 that hits magnitude coming back up here. So hopefully you can take that out. Still an inside week would be the issue, but 2-1-2 on the month, reconfirmed. Now backing off on the 60. We'll see if that sets up again for us later. We did have a little bit of strength in the rails this morning. Norfolk Southern now backing off at the inside 60, but CSX inside 60, but nice little green there in Union Pac. That's what we're always looking for, discernible rotation into certain groups, whether it's a subsection of the transports like that or not, because that tells us what they're doing. What are they really buying here, right? Right now they're going into some rails, going into some regional banks. Inside 60 for service now, just trying to retake that month over here, and let me see if that's Rev Strat day. Nope, not quite. 2222 to the upside. Now inside 60s like a lot of things. Check that SPY. Still sitting there inside. If we go to Jack in the Box. And Jack in the Box with a nice little day. The 1-bar Rev Strat day. Inside day goes down 1-3. And off she goes, and that reconfirms this. The 2-1-2 month to the upside. And having a nice little week there, so... Jack in the Box, we'll see how that goes. If we go to Lulu, and Lulu hits a little bit of magnitude up here and then stalls out, but you do have this kicker here where it's bright red and then it gaps up on them. We'll see if that firms up later. Also, taking this monitor here, that inside Rev Strat month 1, 2, 2 to the upside, just kind of stalling out with the market and all this kind of stuff here. If we go to QLYS from yesterday's gapper list, trying to still go here a little bit, and we'll see. Had a nice little opening here, but now backing off, looking like Rev Strat 60 back down. We'll see. If we go to UPST, I believe this is still an inside day because of that range, but having a nice little day, and you can see this on the 15er right here, inside 15 hammer. Triangulate out by going into higher high. Triangulate out by taking the lower lows, and then the inside, boom, off it goes. So we'll see. It just had a big enough range to play. Usually you don't want to play an inside day come this time of day, but you did have a big enough range to get something out of it. If you go to not too much really on the downside to speak of, but LRN, boom, 2-2 weaker down, taking all these guys back down. And this thing knows how to puke, I'll tell you that much. But for right now, it's like stuck inside 60s trying to take these guys to the downside. But mother bar issues, which means how are you going to get outside of this even if you take these guys out? So we'll see. If you go to SWTX, two reversal on a Tuesday yesterday, and look at that follow through. Boom. Give me the outside weaker over here. Once again, mother bar issues here because anytime you have an inside bar, the bar before it is called the mother bar, and you want to get out of there. So what it's doing here is it's trying to get out, can't do it. So oftentimes you'll have price discovery start over again where now that this fails, you come down and take these guys out. Then the question is, are you weak enough to get out of this? But right now, this thing in all sorts of trouble. If we go to CAE, and CAE, a nice 2-2 reversal weak coming down, but let's blow this out just a little bit. Oof. So you take all these guys out in one shot. That's what you want to do, come back to the previous range. The question is, do the sellers continue to step down? Because you stopped everybody out in here, right? The question is, do you keep going? Because you got a Rev Strat 1-3 on the month. Now the question is going to be weak enough to come after these guys. So we'll see if that sets up right now. Firming up just a tad after the 2-1-2 60 down. If you go to CERT, here you can see very similar here, where you have this choppy range. attempt to get out, and then boom, 2-2 back through previous range and stop all these guys out. It's the real move. It's a breakout. Is it? Boom. So now you can see how it pops right back up because this stopped everybody out here. The question is, the seller is going to continue to step down now that you have your outside week and outside month. Right now, trying to go inside 60 back to the upside. So if we go back to the SPY, how are we going to outside this insider? Most things are a gap and 2 up. So at this point, we're probably looking for these things to go up. Take this to the upside. The magnitude would only be to take that out, but then we want to watch and see the strength and weakness in the market, who goes with it, who doesn't, and if it fails, who does that bring down? Right now, in the Bitcoins, you got Mara in the gapper, 212 coming up here on the 1, on the 2 day. These two become an outside bar of that, and that tells us to look at like Mr. here, and not so much. How about Coinbase? Not so much. How about SI? Nope, not too much. So it looks like it's a Mara event. It's not a Bitcoin event. So you always want to have those subsectors, trying to reconfirm everything. It's nice when you can get them all going. But right now it's also a Wednesday, so that means we have crude oil inventories and crude oil UCO. 2 off the 30, 2 down, 2 up, and bam, off it goes. So we'll see if anything comes of that. You do have stuff like Oxy going back to the highs. They had a rough start, and then the recovery in the crude helped them out. Maybe an outside day for Oxy. You always want to look for these lower lows and then go back to the higher highs. But no real hurry here. People always get all gung-ho and fired up, and I'm like, what I'm saying here is that this is setting up for the future, for the rest of the month. If we can hold up here, because we've been trying to do it, then we've got a whole bunch more to go after over time, over the rest of the month, because there's so many more things, 2 up on the month now. Yesterday, a lot of things were being challenged, but now we're back up there. But unfortunately, it's a gap, and we're just going to sit here for right now. But going forward, that's going to be very important. So keep that in mind unless we drop back in again. All right, that's going to do it for the Emerald Smith Black with Strat Time Report.